This girl wanted to be a model, but didn't expect to be photographed for the first time. The photographer said the picture was too boring, told her to take off her coat. Mary is a bit resistant, but the desire to be famous takes over. Satisfied, the photographer picks up his camera. However, as the picture is taken, he gets the wrong idea. He asks Mary to take off her underwear. Mary wondered if she had heard him wrong, but the photographer has revealed his true nature. If you want to be famous, you have to let go. This makes Mary so angry that she just walks away. She wanted to be famous, but she didn't want to be without boundaries. That night, an advertisement for a model. She was attracted to it. The conditions were excellent, and no experience was required. There was no such thing as a good deal. Mary said this while, but she couldn't resist putting in her CV. The next day she was invited to an interview. Afraid of being scammed, she asked him to send her a portfolio of his work. Looking at the glowing, famous models in his portfolio, Mary let her guard down. She leaves a letter and takes a train overnight to the interview. She is met by her boss's assistant, a blonde woman. She follows the blonde woman to a villa, where she is warmly offered a test shoot. In the evening, after dinner, the three of them have dinner together. Mary wants to go and rest. The owner takes her to the guest room. He said that many models had stayed here. When she saw the clean room, she was relieved. Mary was relieved of her worries, but what she didn't know was that, the moment she stepped into the guest room, she had already fallen into a trap. When she remembers that she has forgotten her luggage, she couldn't get out. The owner at the door ignored her. She finally realized that something was wrong and tried to call the police, but it was the owner who answered the phone. She finally realized that something was wrong and tried to call the police. The next morning, the boss comes back to Mary's room. This time, he reveals his true nature. He threatens Mary with the lives of her family to do something untoward. The props are in the next room. Mary pushes open the door and looks at the room full of different styles of clothes. She finally realizes what is in store for her. The girl is live on the air. She is wriggling around for the camera. The man tells her to take off her coat to show herself off. She is reluctant, but does so. Suddenly, she shouts at the camera. The boss immediately cuts off the live feed. He rushed into Mary's room and he said to her, "If you don't do as you're told, this is what will happen to you." He took out a picture of a dead body and said, "If you don't do as you're told, you'll end up like this corpse." He left with a warning to the girl. She shouldn't bother. The glass wouldn't even blow up with explosives. Now Mary was completely obedient. Soon she was the boss's moneymaker. Professional clothes, royalty, cute schoolgirl. Mary gradually let herself go. She was able to handle all the styles with ease. Her popularity skyrocketed. Looking at Mary like this, the boss can't help but be impressed. He began to treat her gently. On Mary's birthday, the boss gave her a beautiful set of lingerie. Mary knew what he meant, but she is powerless to resist. She has no choice but to wear it. On the surface, Mary is submissive. In fact, she is looking for an opportunity to escape. Early the next morning, while the boss is still happy, Mary asks to go out for a walk, but she is not able to resist. The boss agrees to take her out to buy clothes. Before she gets out of the car, he warns her once more not to think about running away. They arrive at a clothes shop. The owner chose a dress for her. Mary takes the opportunity to go into the fitting room to think about how to escape. She stabs her finger with a pin from the tag. She writes a distress call on the mirror, but by staying in there too long, she attracts the attention of a man. He breaks into the fitting room and, immediately, he finds the distress signal left by Marie. He is so angry that he threatens her. Girl held captive by man. On this day, the man takes her shopping. She wrote down a distress call in the fitting room, which attracts the man's attention. He wipes the blood off the mirror and takes Mary away. Mary tried to struggle. As she walks away, she deliberately takes a bow tie. The shop assistant saw her and immediately chased her out, but is frightened away by the man. The escape ended in failure. Back home, the man is furious. For the only time he had trusted him, he had been deceived. He withdraws his gentleness. To punish her, he starts a live show for 2. From then on, Mary suffers more abuse, but her desire to escape never ceased. This time she set off the alarm. When the boss arrives, Mary smashed him in the eye with her high heel. Then she called the police. But despite all this, she doesn't get away. This time the boss is so angry that he plans to bury Mary alive live. Luckily, a man sneaks into the villa at night. He turns out to be Mary's boyfriend. After accidentally seeing a video of Mary on the internet, he suspects that Mary has been kidnapped. After checking her email address, he gets in touch with the owner, pretending to be a model. He follows the trail and finds the villa. He tries to rescue his girlfriend, but is knocked unconscious before he can even see her. Mary is helpless at the sight of her captured boyfriend. In her desperation, the first day she came here, she suddenly remembered that the owner had a severe allergy. The blonde woman who had brought the nuts had been angry with him. Mary took out the nutcrackers and ate them. She rushed out and hugged the boss and kissed him. Soon the boss is suffering from allergies. Mary takes the opportunity to untie her boyfriend and escapes together. The boss eventually collapses helplessly on the floor. By the end of the story, Mary makes it to the cover of a famous magazine.